Alright folks, welcome back one and all to Let's Play Final Fantasy X. I'm the Mysterious JG. Last you joined me, we were trying to figure out what to do about that pesky Dark Ixion who just didn't seem to want to go away. But I decided, and I've done a lot of off-screening since that time, that I was going to mess around with other stuff instead. So I showed you what you have to do with Lulu's ultimate weapon. You have to dodge 200 lightning strikes in a row. And I talked in earlier videos about how, well, I remember, it can't be that hard, I remember I've done it before. Well, I realized that I actually hadn't done that before. I had gotten a random drop from one of the super bosses that I did manage to defeat, using guys whose super weapons I could get, like Waka, Yuna, Orin, possibly Riku, Kamari. The only two super weapons I never got were Lulu's and Tidus's. So I actually managed to get a weapon with break damage limit for Lulu, but that was it. It wasn't her like ultimate celestial weapon. It was just a weapon that had break damage limit, which is kind of the most important of the attributes on the ultimate weapons. However, with the magic of an emulator and save states, and it took me quite a while. Actually, I probably had much shorter streaks of successfully dodging lightning than I achieved back when I tried to do it on a PS2 back in the day. Eventually gave up. Because I was like, you know, listening to stuff and not watching stuff, but I had like, a DVD on another screen or another window, and I would be trying to dodge lightning bolts by watching it. And I got to the point where after every about 5 lightning strikes I successfully dodged in a row, I would save. Eventually, it was even fewer than that, and it took. I've been watching, picked up at the Haji Shops, Deep Space Nine. I've been watching Deep Space Nine. I think I watched about 3 episodes, and over the course of 3 episodes, I finally managed to dodge enough lightning bolts. It involved a lot of loading, but I've dodged enough at this point, so let us go and find out what our prize is. I love that. Congratulations, you've dodged 5 lightning bolts in a row. The Billigan Memorial Travel Agency presidency with this gift. X potion ×2, but the treasure chest didn't go away. Congratulations, you've dodged 10 in a row, and we give you Mega Potion ×2. Congratulations, you've dodged 20 in a row, and we will present you with MP Sphere. The first time I opened up that chest after doing this and I got X potions, I just about freaked the fuck out. I was thinking, what, you have to open it after each? And I realized that you can get all the prizes. I was thinking you had to, like, get all of these other prizes first and then go back and do it. Like, you have to dodge 5 in a row, open the chest, 10 in a row, open the chest, 20 in a row. No, you don't. We're cool. Congratulations, you dodged 50 lightning bolts in a row. The Building Memorial Travel Agency presents you with Strength Sphere ×3. 100 lightning bolts in a row, and we get HP Sphere 3. Amazing! You've done 150 lightning bolts in a row, and you're proud to honor us with Mega Elixir ×4. Amazing! You've done 200 in a row, and we get Mars Sigil, which I thought was a Venus Sigil. Treasure chest now stops opening. So, have I got all the stuff for this now? I'd have to go to key items. I've got the Mars Sigil, but I don't have the Mars Crest. Where the hell is the Mars Crest? Oh, gotta go to Guado Salam in the Far Plane for that. Apparently I missed that. We did visit Guado Salam recently, didn't we? We talked to the Monster Mash guy, and he was all bummed about, no, I don't want to play Blitzball, damn it, that was lightning strikes to indicate that I've made a huge mistake. No, no, no. That is not coming back. You want more Blitzball? You're gonna need to go with another LP.
The final showdown.
The final showdown of shit. Shit bar.
Yeehaw! Here we go!
Yeah, bitches! Because I do remember commenting out loud, which means I hopefully it was
Why
recorded.
are you in Guado Salam?
Maybe not.
What business have you here?
You want to start something?
You want a piece of me, old man? thought I remember already
If it would
recording
please
this.
you to harm a defenseless old man,
Go ahead, you punk-ass
then
bitch.
burn me, boil me, it matters not.
Huh?
Lord Seymour is gone.
Yeah, I'm almost positive we've already
Why?
seen this.
If it meant
You'll take it.
I don't even know why I'm doing this, actually. You'll find out why I'm questioning this in a moment. But, I've actually done, like I said, I've done some off-screening, so there's something else I need to jump ahead to. I wanted you guys to see me getting the Mars signal or crest, whatever it was. So I loaded a save state I had where I'd finished dodging lightning bolts. But there's actually more off-screening I've done, so we need to jump ahead further still. I just want to give you guys a chance to see all the action. So Lulu's over here. She's going to talk to, what's her name? Apparently I missed this, or I got it on a different save spot where I didn't have the sigil, so it didn't matter. We do have the Onion Knight itself, don't we? Yes. Okay. So now I need to find the save sphere so I can hop to the airship. For the airship, I'll need to hop to the... hop 2, 3, 4. I'll need to hop to the Macalania Woods or Macalania Lake or whatever, so that I can actually show you guys the process of unlocking this Onion Knight. And then we can load state 2 where I've done other stuff. Huzzah. I must have somebody's peaceful bangle, peaceful ring, the peaceful ring, yeah.
the final showdown with...
Showdown shit. The final throwdown with the Thrin. Eloan, are you ready? We're gonna have the final throwdown with Thrin.
Yeehaw! Here we go!
Sick of them telling the Terrans that your planet is the Ulag brain world and blowing it up. Don't know what I'm talking about? That's fine. Other LP. Can't imagine there'll be a ton of crossover between the FFX and Starflight LP viewership, but yeah, I've got some people who just generally watch everything I do. But I would imagine that I'll probably have unique viewers on both who will not have a lot of crossover. Probably not quite as extensive as the lack of crossover I would see between, say, Romance of the Three Kingdoms and Roll Roses. Yeah, pretty eclectic tastes, now that I think about it. Okay. Have you the celestial weapon? She will present the weapon to Lulu. You must complete the ritual. To them, it's some kind of ritual. The Onion Knight is apparently from one of those Final Fantasy games that never came to America, or rather, it came to America way late. Lulu really doesn't seem to react that much to this. I think it came to America 1 or 2 system generations later on a part of a, compilation series instead of coming out when it was new. But it was also, Onion Knight, I believe, is a character in Legend of Mana, which, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Aquilus? He's been playing that, and I was watching a few videos of that. That had been thrown out as something Bobo and I could do together, although I really don't have a lot of patience for that game. It's beautiful, and the soundtrack is beautiful, and it's like... There's something about the game that just bugs me, though. It's very plotless sort of game. Anyway, now that I've bashed that game for no reason, although there's a good LP of it being done by somebody who's commented on mine, Aquilus, so check that out. He's a friend of Boba the Vultures in the real non-internet's world. But we've got the Onion Knight. I've never had this before. Never had it on PS2, I should say. So the magic of an emulator allowed me to overcome my crippling inability to dodge lightning 200 times in a row. But that's it, the Onion Knight. Break damage limit, triple overdrive, magic booster, and 1 MP cost. Now, the fact that it has magic booster and 1 MP cost, to me, makes it better than Yuna's Nirvana. Nirvana has break damage limit, 1 MP cost. Magic booster is an item I haven't really showcased in this LP. It increases the power of your spells, but makes them cost twice as many MP. But that's, I believe, overridden by 1 MP cost, or maybe it now costs 2 MP, but I think it's overridden by 1 MP cost, which basically means it's just, you get a free boost to your magic power, which Yuna does not have on hers. Now, it won't really matter, because in my final configuration, unless I go to the trouble of stat maxing all of my characters, Yuna is going to end up being more powerful than Lulu, because she is one of the people who I've decided I'm going to use in my final party against the final ultimate super enemies. So I'm going to have at least 3 characters who are almost completely maxed out, and the other party members will probably won't bother because it takes a lot of grinding and work. But we're not talking about that right now. Right now we are going to load state. Remember how I showed you guys the Chocobo racing minigame, and you remember how frustrated and angry I was even before I got started? I had been dreading this, folks. However, in off-screen action, I figured out a way to use save states. You can't pause during the race, but all you need to do is all you can do is steer the Chocobo left or right. You can't increase or decrease its speed. There's no point to doing forward or back. So I use my left thumb to do left and right, and I have my right hand on the mouse so that I could, like, had a mouse, you can't see it, but I've got a mouse hovering over save state, so I go punch in save state at different times. Like, there was at least one occasion where I save stated and then realized I shouldn't have, and I got to a point where if I load state, I would automatically lose because I'd saved state right before hitting a bird, blah blah blah. But if you recall how it worked, if bird hits you, you lose 3 seconds, balloons take 3 seconds off the clock, and you need to get a time of less than 0 to get the item. Sadly, I guess I didn't show you guys me just winning one normally. If you beat the trainer's time but don't get less than 0, she gives you a prize. There's a little speech from her. Nothing voice acted, just some text saying, "Hey, somebody's finally beaten me. Now I can die," or something. I don't know. It's just like, "Hey, I've always wanted someone to defeat me. Tidus, you're such a dude. You are the biggest stud ever," or whatever. But no, I've never done this before. Lulu's and Tidus's were the 2 that I was dreading. Lulu's I knew I could do. A, I mistakenly thought I'd done it and then realized later I hadn't, but B, I knew save states would be very helpful. This, I didn't know if I'd be able to swing a way to make save states make it possible. So it's totally not legit. I could never have done this on the PS2. But here we go, folks. After tallying all the birds and balloons, I felt so happy after accomplishing this. It's ridiculous how much this lifted my spirits the day that I did it. After tallying all the birds, because I thought I would be spending hours trying to do this, and it actually didn't take very long. After tallying all the birds, and now I'm going to interrupt myself again for no reason. After tallying all the birds and balloons, our total times are... Wow, that's a new personal best, 000. Congratulations, I'll jot it down on my book. Here's your prize. It contained Turbo Ether. Again, you remember how I mentioned with Lulu, I did it, and then I got X potions, and I started freaking the fuck out? I freaked the fuck out here. Unbelievable, that was a perfect run. Then I calmed down. Wait, I have something special for you. I never thought I'd see the day that someone would actually achieve a perfect time. Here you go. I don't know what it's for, but I've heard it's priceless. Obtain Sun Sigil. Once more? Hell no. So you end up over here, and you don't even get a freaking chocobo. Let me ride a damn chocobo, bitch. Put you in your place. Give me a chocobo, baby. And now, hey, who's this fella? Hey, I saw it. I saw the race. You were amazing. I can't believe you won, but you were lucky. I mean, sometimes she's shot, sometimes she's not. Talk to him again. I believe he... What? Who's watching the Gorge? Gorge? No one. Shouldn't hurt, right? He was the guy who was hanging around in that corner where I was like, hey, there's a secret item over here. I don't remember what it was. And then realized I couldn't get to it. I thought it was going to be relatively simple. But no, he was the guy who was guarding the Gorge. He's never explained who told him to do that, why he was doing it, but at any rate, he was over here guarding this thing. And when you beat her in a race, you don't have to get the time of less than 0, but if you beat her in a race, he pops out, and it's like, hey, I watched the race, and that's why he leaves, because I think he said something like, if only something interesting would happen, then I would leave. Well, apparently that something interesting is you winning the Chocobo race. So now you come down here, he's gone. We've got whatever this is. The Celestial Mirror seems to react. Use the Celestial Mirror? Yes. It doesn't look like a mirror. What the hell is that thing? He's like, huh? Obtain Calidbolg. Some kind of Celtic word. I have no idea how to pronounce it properly. It's a real shame I don't know how to pronounce Calidbolg. Anyway, so we've got that. I've never gotten the Calidbolg before, and to this day I've never gotten it on the PS2 instead of an emulator where I was able to cheat. But I already had the Sun Crest, and it's a good thing that I figured out when I did that we need to get the Sun Crest, because if you don't get it when you first defeat, in the international version only, if you don't get it when you first defeat Unalesca, you're screwed. You have to defeat Dark Bahamut before you can get it, because Dark Bahamut spawns in the room that it's in. Though honestly, with the off-screen leveling I've done, I know that if I used Waka, my super party of Waka, Yuna, and Tidus, I could definitely take Dark Bahamut, no doubt in my mind, and I will be showing that on screen eventually. Although I'm going to try to beat some of the super bosses using the characters I haven't leveled up all the way, because I have characters who are pretty much stat maxed at this point on one of my save slots. Watching a lot of riff tracks, reading facts on how to do it. I've never really stat maxed characters in an RPG before. I always thought it was a phenomenal waste of time. And really it still is, but this is my favorite RPG of all time. So if I was going to do it, might as well do it A, for an LP, and B, on my favorite RPG. I don't feel quite as ridiculous about having actually more or less stat-maxed characters on one of my save slots. Like if I used... like Waka could probably defeat Sin by himself right now.
The final showdown with Sheen.
Waka, you ready? It's all on you, buddy. We're not even going to help you. So let's go back to Lake Makalani.
Yeehaw! Here we go!
And we'll do this again. Oh, you know, I just noticed something I didn't realize about the Calidbolg. Just while glancing at this fact that I've got open, it does more damage when Tidus's HP is high, or maxed. I didn't realize that, because in my off-screening, beating up super bosses to get rare item drops that I needed for stat maxing purposes, he's been much, even with the Calidbolg and really high attack stats, he's been much less reliable than Waka for doing damage, and I was kind of wondering why, and now I'm like, oh, I did not realize that fact, but that would explain it. His HP starts out max and he does really well, and then as the battles progress, he doesn't. I did not realize. Have you the celestial weapons? Tidus. Watch Tidus do like stupid, goofy-ass gestures here during this. He's got his arms crossed, okay. He does the hands on the hips, nod, fist pump thing he keeps doing. I don't really understand. And we'll get fully powered up Calidbolg. That'll be fine. Weapon changed to maximum power. Max Carnage. No, so we have fully powered up Calidbolg. That's nice. Now it's time to load a different save slot. This is actually an in-game. This is a save using the in-game save. And you'll see just how ridiculously powerful some members of my party have become. An embarrassing number of hours that have been logged now. I end up watching like the riff tracks of The Lord of the Rings, all 3 movies over the last couple of nights. Just grinding. I haven't recorded anything, just grinding. And you'll notice a lot of characters haven't have 99 sphere grid levels. They haven't all maxed out their sphere grids though. Like here. This is Waka. He has covered the entire sphere grid, and if you're really paying attention, you'll notice there's a lot of places like... Here's a good example. There were a lot of empty spheres around here. They're all full now, because I was using these spheres, the HP, the MP, the Strength sphere, the ones that actually change empty nodes into something else. For stat maxing purposes, you need to fill in all the empty nodes with stat booster nodes. So you'll notice there are now no empty nodes, and Waka has activated every node. And you can check out facts on how to do this if you're interested. Basically, almost all of the really high-end super bosses that you fight in the monster arena drop something useful for this process. The species creations, which you get when you capture one of each, like, they actually fess up to the fact that it's all based on palette swaps. If you capture all of the palette swap mushrooms, you can fight a super mushroom, basically. If you capture all the palette swap insects, you can fight a super insect. And most of them have a drop of 1 stat booster sphere and a rare drop of 2. And it's always the same. Like, one of those super bosses drops an HP sphere, one of them drops an MP sphere, one of them drops a strength sphere, one of them drops a magical strength sphere, one of them drops defense, one of them drops magic defense, etc. So you can, whichever one you want, make sure you get overkills using the celestial weapons so that they drop 2 instead of 1. You can grind against the one that you want to power up your stats for, and the result is that I've got 255 in everything except evasion. I didn't boost HP much at all, because I read around on some facts about how to fight like the toughest boss in the entire game, and they recommend against using the break HP limit to have more than 9,999 HP. You can theoretically have up to 99,999, but unless you're playing a game where people who are in critical get like stat boosts, which some of the Final Fantasy games work that way, this one doesn't. RPG players know that it's always better to have low hit points and high defense than high hit points and low defense, because you end up getting an economy issue where it's impossible to keep your HP up, because you've got tons of HP at your disposal, but your defense sucks, so every time you got hit, you lose hundreds or thousands of HP, depending on what the scale is in the game. So I'm going with low HP, maxed out defense. And as you can see, Waka's already there. The hardest one by far was luck, and I don't really think I have the patience to max out luck for all of my characters, because I had to grind against a unique super boss to get the fortune spheres that turned empty slots into luck nodes, and then you have to fight a different original creation boss to get the luck spheres, which will activate those nodes. And to get the HP boosting node, you have to fight a significantly easier species boss. Instead of an original boss, you fight a species boss. And then to activate the HP nodes, you just get regular old nodes that all enemies drop. So, for every luck node, you have to have 2 fights against an original boss, super boss. And it's much easier to raise all the other stats. But I went ahead and got Waka's luck maxed out. Luck, I don't really understand it actually, but I believe it helps with evasion and accuracy. I know that it helps with hitting, because I read stuff saying that if your luck isn't maxed out, you might not be able to hit like the final ultimate boss reliably. Yeah. So Waka's already there, as good as he can possibly get. In theory, I could go around, I haven't done this and I don't plan to, there's an item you can buy later, after I've unlocked a couple more things. You can buy an item which is called a clear sphere, which will erase a node that you've already activated. So something with like, I'm trying to find an example. HP 200, you got raised defense by 3 points. Raise strength by 2 points. Well, the strength booster spheres, the ones that you get from the bosses, raise it by 4. So I could get rid of these 2, replace them with 1 plus 4. It wouldn't drop my strength, but it would give me room to put on another sphere for evasion, or for HP, or for MP. So you can even push it to a greater extreme than I already have, but I've already spent way too much time on this crap. So I'm going to be satisfied with having 6 less than the maximum possible evasion, and keeping my HP under the HP cap that you'd have to break, because I've read strategy guides saying that there's very few attacks when you've got maximum defense and protect. Very few attacks can actually exceed 9,999 HP when you've got all that. And the ones that can exceed it, you have to specially prepare for. Like summon a creature on the turn when that attack is coming, which is you saw me do against like spaceship version of Seymour, is already a valid strategy. Let's keep going. So Wakka's as powerful as he can get. Wakka's like the ultimate warrior, is like,
oh, Kogan, the ultimate blitz player, I put the fuel on the airplane, I broke into the control room, I will turn the airplane and crash it into the ground. The pilot has already made the sacrifice, Kogan.
Anyway, so that's Wakka. Yuna's not quite there yet. She's already got maxed out magic defense, mostly because the boss that I need to fight to drop luck spheres keeps using flare against me, and it was frustrating. I was using summons to defeat it. Now I can defeat it with my party because Yuna, she's been through the whole sphere grid once, but not since I used Wakka to fill in all the blanks with luck spheres and stuff. Tidus is in about the same spot as Yuna. He's got max defense and magic defense and agility. She's got like higher right now evasion. I mean, both of them still need to go through off screen and fill in a bunch of, like, he's already been through the whole thing once, but raise magic by 4, raise magic by 4, raise magic, these were not there when he went through. They were put there by Wakka. Other characters you can see haven't even gone through the entire grid. Crazy. So Lulu's stats are probably powerful enough for her to be part of a party that's fighting the final bosses in the story, but are ridiculously weak compared to Wakka. Wakka's literally 5 times stronger. He's about 4 times as much defense. At this point, Wakka now has twice as much magical power as Lulu. Yeah, because he's been maxed and she's still kind of, like, you know, normal, almost. Same deal with Kamari. Same deal with Orin. Pretty much the same deal with Riku. So I think what I'll do is I'll try to fight as many of the Monster Arena bosses I can with some combination of these 4. But then, against the very last guys, I'll just break out these guys. Or if I'm just sick to death of that particular boss and don't feel like even fighting it, really, I'll let these guys defeat it before it even gets a turn. Like the species creation bosses, if I take Wakka, Yuna, and Tidus against them, they won't even get an attack. Against these guys, I might not even be able to defeat them. That's the kind of gap in power now between these guys and these guys. Alright, so we're coming pretty close to the end of a video here. All I've really done is caught you up. Well, maybe I'll just in this video showcase the 2 guys that I had to fight the most crazy number of times. I had to fight the Earth Eater and the Greater Sphere to get Luck Spheres and Fortune Spheres, respectively. Let's fight the Earth Eater once. Because I have to grind against this guy anyway. I still need more Luck Spheres if I want Yuna and Tidus to have maxed out luck. So, we can see he's his palette swap with Chocobo Eater. Right now, I've got armor that's specially suited to fighting him that has death proof, because his physical attacks have death strike, which means that whether they take all your hit points or not, they still kill you. So let's do Histaga. And let's try hitting him. As you see, 9,909 in hit points. He punched Wakka, he did about 3,000 hit points, and you saw Immune pop up. If it wasn't Wakka who has 255 defense, his punch would have done over 9,999 damage to someone like Riku or Lulu. And it has the Death Elemental, which means that even if they had more hit points than that, it would still kill them. And as you'll also notice, he didn't have a turn there. That was a reaction ability. So he has a reaction ability where he just kills you automatically. In that particular instance, he attacked Wakka, who attacked him. It doesn't always work that way. Yuna attacks him. knocks him over because of how much damage I'm doing. That was actually faster. It wouldn't have happened that quickly with my other party. You know what? What am I doing? Now, I'll finish him off. You whack him in the ass while he's down. He uses flare. He's got reflect, auto-reflect on himself. So he casts it on you, on himself, so it'll hit you. This also means you can't use any offensive magic against him. Here's the way I had been finishing him off for the most part, using anima. Before I had my guys stat max, so they were really powerful, I was still fighting this guy for luck spheres before I got all maxed out and super powered. And I was doing it with anima, who's now it takes longer with anima, so I don't use him anymore, or her, I should say. But yeah, anima used items to give anima haste, Karaga, and protect, none of which anima would have otherwise. Haste is important because anima's agility sucks, even though I boosted that a little. Protect on anima, because it was actually doing decent damage with its punch attacks, but now that it's down, it won't do punch attacks. It will just use flare. Anima's attack doesn't do 9,999 damage on him, which is a little surprising and very annoying, so I'll have to use pain, which takes a bit longer. Oh, its magic defense is much higher now because it's scaled with Yuna's. But back when I was using anima to fight this guy a lot, it was doing 9,999 damage even to anima with that attack. Oh, come on. It's taking longer than I wanted it to. And its punches are still doing like 3,000 something damage. It used to do a lot more damage against anima than it is now, but as you can see, anima is still already down to almost half of its strength. Or hit points, I should say. I find anima easier to fight with than the Magus sisters. They're probably more powerful, really, but you don't really control them directly. So yeah, I was doing a lot of this while watching a Mystery Science Theater or something. Got the new cinematic Titanic shipped over here to Afghanistan, checked that out. Picked up some DVDs of stuff that I only got because of the riff tracks, like Birdemic. Watched that recently, that was pretty hilarious. But basically just, yeah, in my free time, instead of recording lots of LP material, now that RTK is done, which I think... Yeah, by the time you see this, the last video, that'll have been posted. I haven't recorded any Starflight for a while. I've pretty much been spending my free time just trying to grind. And it's been a lot of this, with the sound off, with anima, or with the Aeon animations set to short. Just trying to make it go as fast as I can. You get to see the short version of Oblivion, which just looks like you just jump cut to the attack being over because the animation for this one takes forever. Just die already. There we go. 208,000 damage. Oblivion can do that. It's not just one hit. They sum up all the damage from all the different hits at the end when you do the short animation version, but when you do the full animation, it's lots of little hits that add up to a number that's over 99,999, so yeah. Anyway, there's 2 more Fortune Spheres, but I don't really care about them anymore. So let's just for funsies show you what happens if I try to fight that guy. Oh, hold on, I need to switch my party. So what if I were to, Lulu's got her ultimate weapon. Oh, actually, she's got really good armor set up now too, all of them do. Much better armor than they would have had before. Everyone now has armor that is basically, well, except these guys who have the death-proof armor. Everybody has armor that's set up for what I was told is the good setup to have against, like, the ultimate bosses. So let me just show you how that battle would have gone. It would have gone even faster if I hadn't bothered to summon, but let's show you about how that battle would go now if I did it with these guys who haven't leveled up quite as much. And then I'll show you a quick battle against Greater Sphere, which I had to fight to grind for all the Fortune Spheres. Or Luck Spheres, or I don't know what the heck I'm talking about anymore. First of all, if you cast magic spells on it, you're sunk. So don't do that. Which makes it difficult to use Lulu. The best thing she can do is double cast Ultima. We'll see how effective that is. Did I not equip her with her best? Oh, she's not even using the Onion Knight. Oh, she's not using the Onion Knight because I was leveling with her, so I had an AP boost item. Oops. All right. Well. Anyway, let's see Orin use a quick hit on this guy. Does 1,000 something damage, and Kamari dies. Now we'll try double casting Ultima. Oh, so they cost 2 each because it's 1 MP cost, but magic booster. So her spells cost twice as much as Yuna's, but they're more powerful when their stats are the same. You see, at her current magic level, which is pretty high enough to, you know, be good against the final plot bosses, she's doing like 4,000 damage with Ultima. And Orin dies. So with this party, I'd basically keep going. Let's do an Ultima Fury just for funsies. It looks kind of impressive until you notice how crappy the damage numbers are. And then Orin dies again. And Kamari dies too, because if after a while it just starts getting turns of its own. As you can see with our armor setup, it's still going to be difficult for this thing to take us out, but this is getting ridiculous, so let's just get out of here. And I will show you what it's like to fight using a regular old party against the other super boss I had to do a lot of grinding against, the Greater Sphere. It slowly collects itself, pops up, floats, and what's really cool is that it can ambush you, which means your whole party watches it slowly float up, collect itself, they just stand there, and then it gets off the first attack because you don't react. So, it's a high-powered magical being. Let's try using Ultima against it. Hey, that actually did a little bit decent damage there. Certainly did better damage than it does against the Earth Eater. Ultima did over 9,000! It responds to all attacks by casting Ultima. And Ultima's damage is not capped at 9,999, which means that it automatically kills your party. If you attack it, if you steal from it, if you do anything to it, it automatically kills your party. The only thing that's different is that if you do an overdrive, it doesn't respond with Ultima, it responds with a different attack, which we'll see now, because now I'm going to use my superpower party against it. And with this guy, I actually found it easier to fight it using my party than I found it to fight it using Anima. But it involved a lot of me using focus and stuff on myself to avoid, to decrease its damage, and not attacking it. Like, I would spend turns making sure that I had full hit points before attacking it, after having applied lots and lots of focus, so that I got its damage for ultimate down less than 9999. It was pretty ridiculous, the work that was involved in attacking this thing. So what happens if we just attack it? Like, Yuna's now got pretty high strength, she should be able to just whack it. Well, she did 99,999 damage. It goes for Ultima. Does a lot less damage against these guys. But now let's see what happens when you do an overdrive. Bear in mind, Ultima did like less than 1,000 damage against these guys. So that's a lot of damage dealt. What does it do? Hydraulic press. You notice something, folks? You notice how it killed everybody? I'm a little confused. I thought that attack did 75% of your max hit points. And it seems like those guys should have survived, because they had over 9,000 out of 10,000 hit points. But the point is, all these guys had max defense and it made no difference. This is an attack that simply does damage based on your max hit points. It's like a souped up demi. Oh, and these guys are still using the armor with death proof on it instead of the one that has like auto phoenix. Believe me, that attack did a lot more damage to Waka before I maxed out his defense. So, the fun thing about this enemy is that its attacks get stronger as you get stronger, because its attacks are based on your maximum number of MP. And basically, when I was fairly weak, I always wanted to fight it using overdrives, so that I could be prepared to lose 75% of max hit points and then get them back. And once, as my party got stronger, I stopped wanting to do that and wanted to start attacking with regular attacks, because Ultima would do less damage than hydraulic press. And I hate using Shell, because Shell reduces the potency not just of attack magic, but of healing magic. If you have Shell in your party, your healing magic only does half what it would normally do. Very frustrating. I've also determined that attack rails do more damage than 4-odd rails, but only if you get 2 hits for all of them. And I've gotten a lot of practice with this. So in this video, most of the action was off-screen, with me showing, getting Lulu's lightning dodging done and getting Tidus's chocobo racing done. And most of what I did show on screen was just summary versions of me beating the crap out of super bosses. And now it rebuilds itself so that it can do this? That's weird. It looks like it turned into a pool, then it forms back into a sphere so it can die. And forms into a pool again. Not sure I get that, but okay. Okay, so I got some luck spheres. It's fortune spheres that I need to be grinding for, though. So I'm not even going to go with this. I just showed that to you so you guys could see it. When we come back, we are going to check out. Well, we'll see how many of these I can actually accomplish. When we come back, we're going to try to get Kamari's ultimate weapon, and Auron's ultimate weapon, and Riku's ultimate weapon. At which point we'll have all the ultimate weapons, and I'll have to decide if I want to beat up the super bosses first, and then show you the end of the actual plot. And I've already decided I'm not going to use stat max characters to win the plot. It would just be silly. All the big dramatic final boss battles would be like one-hit KOs for me. I'm going to use a different save slot to win the game, but I have to decide, do I want to win the game and the plot first, and then have the fights with super bosses as optional extras at the end, or do all the optional extra stuff? Not sure. Depends. I would think that some portion of the viewership might want to just tune out once the plot's over and not worry about seeing all the optional crap. So maybe I'll do the like battles with Dark Aeons and Pendants after. I don't know. Give me your comments. There's a small chance that I won't have had to make a decision and started recording before you guys have a chance. Or maybe I'll throw it up on the channel, ask people for feedback. But either way, folks, next video, going after some multiple weapons. This is Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.